It's an issue with me.
How did we get here?
I can talk about my marriage. I'm a person.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome everyone to Reaction Phase, your Flesh and Blood Monday podcast. My name is Louie from KitchenTableTCG. I am joined by my best friend in any podcast that I'm in.
I would think the tallest, most well-spoken, smartest, best-looking. Dude, I watched that podcast and they just crap on me, and I just sit here taking it quietly. I'm done, dude. I'm coming after them. Let's go.
This is my favorite podcast, so it doesn't matter.
This is the only podcast I do, so it's
this is the only one I listen to. I just listen to this one. So.
That is not true. I listen to Kitchen Table TCG and May the Zoo be with you, but my name is Josh, and I am from Hometown TCG, and we are here with the reaction phase.
Yeah,
where can you find this podcast?
Yeah, this is your first time listening to the podcast. We alternate weeks on YouTube. So next week, this episode will be on Josh's channel at Hometown TCG, and then the following week it'll be on my channel. But then we also are, you can hear us. You can't see our beautiful faces, which is great because I didn't shave in the last month and a half. You can see our beautiful, you can listen to our beautiful voices on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and just go to reactionphase.com for all those links. So yeah. All right, today, what are we talking about, buddy? We're going to talk about Everfest and the kind of start off of market chat, I think, like just the overall release weekend and how it felt and all that kind of stuff. We're going to... Dude,
we have to talk Everfest weekend, but I got to pause real quick. Okay. You just said you haven't shaved in a month and a half.
I don't know. I don't
goatee count. Your goatee just grows in like a goatee. It's just like... that's how it comes in.
So like I've been like this is taking me a long time to grow. The goatee
that is
me a long time.
Fascinating.
It's probably not a month and a half.
That movie Joe Dirt, it just comes in all like that. Like that's just how it looks. Like that's amazing.
Probably 2 or 3 weeks, not a month and a half. My life, right. I don't track anything in my life.
All right, hyperbole. All right, good start.
I just said something. No. You should never fact check anything about my life.
So my YouTube recommendations are off the chain. I just let it play while I'm doing work, and it recommended to me, it like knows I do a podcast, how to be a better podcaster, and it said compliment your co-host. So Louie, gosh darn it, you're attractive today. Oh my god. I was like, what is going on? So all right, anyway, Everfest. This has been an insane, just like hype weekend, and like a drawn out hype. Like the hype is like stretched. It's stretching itself.
Yeah. Wait, we're going to talk about Everfest, then we're going to talk about Fab 2.0. We're going to talk a little bit about the James White interview, and then we're going to talk about Everfest meta and kind of our ideas of where that might shake out. So, and
I'm going to put on my, you see, I had my Louis hat on today.
I did. That was going to be my compliment. Today. You took it. I was going to compliment the direction of your hat.
Now, if only we could get you drinking a coffee, this podcast would really vibe.
Would never happen. I did just drink a Diet Coke, though. Back to that. All right, let's talk about Everfest release weekend. Let's talk about, you want to talk about the whole like hype thing? I was thinking this morning while I was in the shower, I liked the shorter hype cycle. I liked the shorter amount window of hype. I didn't like it when we didn't have any information leading up to it, but that like 3 or 4 day hype fest was pretty cool.
Hyperfest, let's go.
Like that was cool. I wish we had some more information prior to all that, and like some more like, I like the Twitter things that they did, just some some artwork.
Crushed it.
That kind of stuff.
They freaking crushed it this release cycle. They smashed it. LSS smashed this out of the park. The hype cycle, the release leading up to it. It was like, oh, I wish they did this. It was just, no, man, they crushed this.
Well, yeah,
they smashed it.
Again, I'm not criticizing the release. The release was perfect. I wish there was more communication that didn't have to do with the release of the set, just in general. But like I think for a release, this like 3 to 4 day hype cycle is really good. It gets people. It doesn't like prolong the pre-order process. It just gets people excited pretty good.
Dude, it got the juices flowing. I was so hyped. You guys know, I mean, so you mentioned earlier, if this is the first time you're watching this podcast, this is the first time watching this podcast, what are you doing? Get with the time. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome.
No. Welcome, and we're glad you're here.
We're glad you're here. No, it was insane. I think they crushed this, and I was so stoked. But Everfest like isn't really released all the way yet, right? Like there's
this is
it's released for some Yeah, it's released for some people, but some people who have boxes stuck in the various snowstorms and stuff,
You
like
got like the entire country got nailed with
it
a
got
massive
on release weekend. Like,
like, and
what the
like
heck?
not just release weekend, but like Wednesday. It like started. It started on the
The
West
day
Coast
of shipping.
Wednesday, and then like all the product that got out was like in the middle of the country on Thursday, and then it hit the middle of the country on Thursday, and then Friday, like the eastern half of the country was just completely demolished.
Right, right. I had people. I don't do box openings. I did a box opening because I was like, or I did a case open because I was like, you know what? Why would I open this off stream? Like, let's at least hang out with some friends. And then tons of people were popping in like, so thank you for doing this for me, because I'm like scratching myself waiting for mine and it's not here yet. So at least I get to see some.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's been
oh,
crazy.
dude.
But like the market has not accepted that as stance. Like if you look at the market,
it has not.
if you
It
look
has
at the
not
market,
followed that trend.
like I've got TCG player up right now. The Fable, the Grandeur of Valhalla, is already at 405. The legendary Stalagmite of Eisenloft is at 145. And then the Skullcap's at 100. And Silver Palms is at $70. And like the market is like I think Monday through Wednesday is going to be a really interesting time to watch the market, because people will get boxes on Monday. And then the 100%. Question is, do you sell them at this price or not? Just super interesting to watch.
I think it's going to be a self-correcting like thing over time, right? If it becomes where everything is so cheap, nobody's going to open Everfest, but then sooner or later, players, collectors, whoever wants the cards, they're going to open the boxes, right? And they're going to sell off other stuff. So the boxes are going to become slim to none. I think it's going to be self-correcting, but I got to tell you, I was crushed, man. And I think what part of this is the freaking amulet and trinket slot. I'm not a believer. I suck. Everyone who's like, they're so cool, it's so neat, I hate them. I opened my Everfest and I did the thing where I sorted. I know I have my Louis hat on today. I sorted everything, dude. So for the first time, I opened it, I sorted it right away, and I have a stack of potions and trinkets and what I'm calling unplayables. And they're just sitting there.
Is that true? Are they going to be unplayable? Honest to God, I think the entire set revolves around if those trinkets and potions and whatever are playable. And some people have said, okay, Louis, they're for PvE. It's going to be great. Look at the PvE merchant. I'm all in. I'm all in on that.
But I've gotten that, and I've gotten they're playable in the future. Like for the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I think the players market that we're in right now does not bode well for Everfest. Like I just don't see the reason that you would just not buy singles, especially with the way the market interacted in release weekend.
100%. I think it's safe to say I'm pretty big on Fab and involved, right? I think that's fair to say. I'm done opening Everfest, and the set's been out for 3 days or something, 4 days, something like that. I'm done opening Everfest because I either have everything I need or it doesn't make financial sense to open the set. It makes financial sense to go out and buy.
Well, okay, so I got criticized for this in my Discord server because it was actually in a private message. Somebody was like, "What are your thoughts?" And I said, "Listen, I sold all my boxes at the store. I think I have like 12 boxes left that haven't sold, but they're all available to be purchased. And I didn't plan on opening for myself. Like,
sure.
I didn't do a stream this weekend because my wife was working 4 days this weekend. That's not possible, but Thursday through Monday she worked. So
she works hard enough where it feels like it, and she deserves a shout out.
Well, like I couldn't do a stream, so like I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like buy singles. That's what I'm gonna commit to be buying singles in this set. And so I was just having a conversation with someone, and I said that, and they were like, I think you're too tied up in the EV. I said, oh, that's probably true. Like I probably care too much about the EV. That's kind of what my content is, and like something that I care about. But my argument was like, if I'm a consumer on release weekend, I want to at least have a shot. And like there's a guy on our team who opened up 120 boxes, and I think he made like $500. He opened 120 boxes.
Okay, you're saying a $500 profit.
Yeah, like
and on release weekend when things should be the most profitable when the product is available.
If you're a store, if you're a store, this is not a good sign. You know what I mean? Like that's not like most TCGs start out, you know, your EV is you're making 50 to 80%. And then, you know, after release week, that's when it's like a race to like get your product out.
Right. The race to the bottom. It's okay.
I think this set has fantastic majestics, like fantastic. It has really good majestics, and like that's good long term.
Something for everybody. It feels like
it seems like the amount, like the pull rate of like the stalagmite is not like it's just like when you hit it, you can still lose money and hit the legendary, which is a weird in a case. Like if you don't hit the right stuff. In addition to the stalagmite, it doesn't pay for your case. It's just interesting. I don't know.
I think we're going with stalagmite, just so you know, bro.
What am I saying? Stalagmite?
Stalagmite. I think it's
on brand.
Oh, hey, I couldn't pronounce. There's a wizard card I can't pronounce too.
Oh, I can't pronounce like 90% of the cards. They make up words. I love how LSS is like, I'm going to make up a word and expect you to know how to pronounce it.
It's freaking fantastic. But so you're 100% right. But there's a counterpoint to that. So let me react to what you're saying, because
reaction phase.
Yeah, that's the thing we do now. It's there's also like an air of opening the product for experience. So you have to know what kind of consumer you are. Let's imagine you're the Rudy consumer, right? Where cash is just not a problem for you.
Must be nice.
Right. And I'm not saying I know any consumers like that, but there's like an element to, even if you don't make your money back, you might pay for the experience. Like for opening this product and being just hitting the cold foil Bravo or something like that before it's a super common card that everyone has seen at this point. You get to have that experience. You get to be like, wow, I like this. The feel of these cards, the feel of these new paper wrappers. There's always an experience with opening a new set.
Yeah.
And part of the value is going to be there. But it's weird to have, like, normally that's a bonus. Normally it's like, I can get my money back out of this box if I dump everything. I mean, you want to keep some stuff, but if I dumped everything, I could theoretically get my money back and have that experience. I've had people with boxes of Everfest, man, that are just
like $20 boxes.
I don't know if I've seen a $20 box. I know for sure I saw like a $31 box.
I had a no cold foil box. The only box that I opened for myself. I had a no cold foil box.
No cold foil and cold foil amulet are the same thing to me. Cold foil amulet.
So I want to give a pushback to the whole us talking. The other side of this is that there could be a world where people are waiting for their boxes, like we said, and so they're not buying singles. And I've heard this as well.
100%.
And that's an interesting theory. You know, like some of the extended arts have some value. I'm looking up on TCG right now, but like some of the extended arts have some value, which is nice.
I think that's cool that they did that. They shifted value, because in Fab traditionally it always felt like when you open Welcome to Wraith, right?
Mm-hmm.
You hit Enlightened Strike or the Legendary, or you lost money. Like, that's just what you did. So it always felt weird. But now that the fact that you can miss on those and there's these other hits in the box, these like full art hits.
Yeah.
I think that's a really neat space to be in. And again, it's another way to add collectability to the product to satisfy the investor, satisfy the collectors. I think bolster the long-term value without hurting the players. Those cards don't affect the players at all. I think that's, so I want to give a shout out. That's a super cool concept to me. And I also want to give a shout out to LSS, because I've opened a boatload of product and I've never opened a special majestic in any set. In any set. I've never opened a single one. Hook me up.
Like the pulverized extended art's sitting at $100 and it's selling, and there's only 10 of them. So they appear to have made those pretty rare.
Aether Wildfire's what, 83, 85, something like that.
The majestic ones I think will hold. I don't know about the rare ones. And by hold, I still think they're probably a little bit overpriced right now.
Some of them, staples of these rares, are going to be like $10 cards, $7 to $10 cards of even the rares.
Pulverize and Winds of Eternity, I think will kind of hold up as long as they're actually played. It's super interesting. Like I think the opening experience is a little spiky, and I personally don't like that. I know people who love that though. You know what I mean? Like there are people who love the high risk, high reward thing. I am more of a, hey, I want to maybe make a little bit of money, maybe lose a little bit of money.
It is.
I don't want to, like, I'm not going on the like when we were in Vegas. I was on the penny slots. Like the maximum I could lose was $100.
Right.
but I could win $100 too. And like
I lost $200 over the week in Vegas.
yeah, I think I was down 400 at the end. I gave myself $100 a night in Vegas to gamble with.
That's not bad.
But like that includes drinks. And
right.
That's great. You know,
right. You're essentially spending $100 at the bar. You're doing a great job. No, real quick before we move on, I want to talk about the dull cap, which by the way, I'm going with dull cap. I decided on my opening stream. I opened it. No, you're just wrong. I saw it on Facebook, and I don't know. I wish I said this on the stream. If you're the one that came up with dull cap, that's not me. I'm biting your move here, but that's just the
Listen, but we did the crew Nick.
Who cares about the crew Nick?
This is the Evercap.
That's so.
I'm going Evercap. Oh, a little battle. Everyone's gonna always be on other people's sides.
You're 100% welcome to be wrong. Like,
should we do a little? Leave it in the comment section. Is it the dull cap or the Evercap?
Yeah, for sure. Leave it in the comment section and let Louis know why he's wrong. I'm down.
I always lose comment section. It's always weird. Like, I guess people don't like you. I guess
everyone hates you.
People don't like you, dude.
Me. You're so attractive. Like, I love you.
That's like the only thing you can say about me. Like, you have naturally good looks, but everything else about you is horrible.
Yeah, you really let yourself go. So I opened the dull cap, right? And it's one of those moments that you should be like, don't get me wrong, I was happy. It was cool. But as someone who like has a skull cap, that card's not in there for me.
Yeah.
Right? It's 100%. So I felt weird about opening. Like, I was exciting. It's a legendary, but then I was like, like the greed got to me. I'm like, I kind of wish I got any other legendary here, even though merchant arms that are cheaper. Like,
did you get another legendary? Because I've heard they're pretty clumped.
No, I opened the Fable last pack of box ones. I guess
you got a legendary and a Fable in your case.
Yeah, I got a legendary and a Fable in the same freaking box, and then the rest of it was. And then I got
that's like everyone. Like everyone I know who's pulled the Fable pulled a legendary in the box. Like in the same case, maybe not the same box, but in the case, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
like it was nutty. It was super cool. Have you opened a Fable? You've opened a Fable before, right?
Yeah,
obviously.
I opened a shard. That's like the 5th video on my channel. I opened a shard.
That's pretty sick. I opened an eye way back when Hometown TCG did box openings. It was just us sitting around a table with drinks. It was hilarious. But I opened an eye and I was opening my buddy's case, so I had to I was a new player. I had to open the eye, get excited, and then hand it to him. I was like, that felt bad. But it's the dull cap and the crew Nick are kind of. I get why they're there, but they feel like. I don't know. They feel weird to me.
Hot take. Hot take.
Woo! He said hot take, ladies and gentlemen. How many minutes are we into the podcast? Louis said hot take. Let's go.
Hot take. They should just print that to oblivion. Oh, I lost you. Oh no, you're back. They should just print that to oblivion. I'm of the opinion that they should make the legendaries in first edition really rare, and then in unlimited just bombard the market,
just smash you with them.
Like I don't know, I just don't like how expensive it is to play the game sometimes.
So but what about
my buddy Robbie, like he can't play the game.
But what about the last? First of all, you could just give him anything you need.
Do.
So you're just being a greed monster.
But people like to own stuff. Like
no, for sure.
Don't downplay that. People like to own. I will never borrow a single card from a single person.
So I get you on that, and that makes sense to me. You like to own it, but what about the argument you just made about it just feels bad to open this product in the EV? If they bombard people with legendaries, it's always going to feel bad to open unlimited, always, because there's no value there.
I get it.
So unlimited boxes are sold at
this is. I mean, we can roll this into Fab 2.0, I guess.
That's what I was doing. Why do you gotta say?
This is the problem with what's going on. And all right, let's do a little bit of a
Everfest packs.
James White was on an interview this past week that we've talked about on the channel a couple times. But
what was that podcast? Someone give them credit. Instant Speed, right?
Instant Speed podcast.
Okay, I want to give them a shout out because they did a great job.
It was the first interview with James White that people asked him real questions that were important.
Whatever it is, I just want to shout them out. They did an awesome job.
It was awesome. It was really good, and James White did a great job too. I thought.
Yeah, he did.
I thought that James White is a James White we haven't seen before. Just the way that he interacted and was honest and. Not that he's not honest, sorry, that came off wrong, but just the way that he was open. Usually LSS is kind of like a secret, And he was a little bit more open about stuff. Anyway, one of the things he said on the podcast, and it was just a brief, like 20-second bit, but he said essentially
This was spicy.
We recognize that there's a problem between unlimited and first edition, and we don't like the way that the market is handling unlimited. Maybe I'm putting words in his mouth.
Yeah,
we recognize that there's a problem between first edition and unlimited.
Sure.
We don't like the way it's going. In a month, we're going to launch Fab 2.0.
Right, and that's the spirit. That's the spirit of what he said. If you got any of that, that's not a direct quote, right? That's like the spirit and the vein of what he said.
Yeah.
And so something awesome about that, and something we've been clamoring for, you and I, right here, is like, hey, we want you to get in front of people and say, like, this is our direction, this is what we're doing, this is what we're working on. Tease us, give us things. And he made that announcement. There was a Rudy Patreon announcement, like I think it was a month ago now, where it was like. He basically said James White and LSS are unhappy with the state of the first edition and unlimited model, and they're unhappy with distribution, right? They've got some problems there with distributors.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Like, it's weird to have the news come out that way from like a Rudy or even from a you or from a me.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Having James White sit up there and say, hey, this is something we perceive as less than optimal in our opinion, and we want to fix it. It like lends credence to like and lends strength to this idea that they're going to do it. There's going to be a shift coming. When Rudy says it, you're like, is there going to be a shift? Is there going to be a shift? When James White says it, you're like,
because Rudy's also like, hey, I'm opening Crucible of War and I'm going to get a cold foil common. You mean like?
Oh yeah, okay. It actually, my brain, that took me. I was like, what?
So like
you see what I'm saying? It's it adds weight to the statement.
And here's why this matters. Like, we've been talking about unlimited on Metazoo Be With You since July.
I don't watch that podcast. They make fun of me.
Since July. Yeah, that's really mean. I don't make fun of you. I love you. Since July, we've talked about that there's a major problem that's happening. The amount of product is going to people who going to Chair and Fireball, going to all these big stores that are just just almost making it so that your local game store can't sell the product to make any money, and also they are getting the product at a lower price so they can sell it at essentially cost for a local game store and not make money. And like that's hard for a local game store when the product has been devalued, and it's hard for me because like I believe that a box of unlimited should be worth $80. Like I think that's a healthy price point for literally everybody. Like I think for a player, that's a healthy price point.
I think there should be a difference in price between supplemental sets and full on sets. Again, I'm not a marketing guy. I'm not.
Well, there's not a difference in price from distribution for those things.
Right, but I think there should. I think there should be, because I mean, think about the Everfest. You get 10 cards per pack, and you can't draft the product. You can't play sealed with the product. I would love to see like a difference in price there between the two, and maybe even one. I don't know which one would be the premium. I assume it would be like the supplemental, but either way, he did mention. I think he's like he wants to give some of the power back to the LGS, and like our LGS was worried. Because in the past, they bought first edition product, but they don't get their allocation as early as your Star City Games Channel Fireballs, Card Shop Live, and then whoever else might.
We didn't get allocations till like the week of release, essentially.
Exactly.
A week before release.
And so they're like, everyone's got this feeling like, hey, it's first edition, I can't hold out. So it's like, I want to place these pre-orders, but I want to support the LGS. So I need to know, hey, LGS, if I want, like, I'm a whale and I want 4 or 5 cases or whatever it is, are you going to be able to support that, or do I have to order online? And as the date gets later and later and later and later, you're afraid you're going to get that out of stock announcement, because all those sites say it's always 41 in stock, and then when it drains, it's back up to 50, right?
Yeah.
So you got that fear, but then you're like, okay, sooner or later you pull the trigger, you order from online, and then your LGS calls you like, you can get 5 cases. You're like, well, I wish someone would have given my LGS that information before, because I'd rather order all from them.
Right. And so let me back up a little bit.
Sure. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. The key, I think, for me on this interview was that James White admitted that there is an issue. And up until this point, there had been no conversation about that. And I actually have talked to, prior to this interview, many people who have been selling cards and saying, I just don't feel like they know that there's an issue. I just don't feel like there's an issue. Like, and like they're not communicating and blah, blah blah. But this week, because of that one podcast, because of that one thing, I had two people who have purchased like high value cards and used the interview and said they admitted they have a problem, they're working to fix it, and I believe that they can come to a solution. And so I'm talking like multi-$1,000 purchases
based on that confidence,
on that confidence. And like,
dude,
this is where I know, like it pisses me off because like I have been said that I'm negative, but it's not negativity. There's a negativity in the market when you don't have communication. When you are a company that doesn't communicate, people don't see you and thus don't believe that you're working to accomplish things. And just that open communication, I think, is massive and is huge. And I think this interview added a ton of confidence. Now I want to know what do you want to see in Fab 2.0?
Oh, I want to see this whole model fixed. I want to feel comfortable going down to my local game store. Like our local game stores in our areas they're pretty big. They're pretty competitive. It's the Chicagoland suburb area. There's a lot of gamers. There's a lot of people out there, but that means there's also a lot of game stores, right?
Yeah.
And every game store is kind of tentative on Fab. And every time I go there, I'm on social media, whatever it is, videos, I'm plugging the game store because I think they do an awesome job, but they're tentative because like, let's say they got in at Monarch first and they're like, this product's going to the moon. We ordered all this Monarch first. Now they got a bunch of Monarch first sitting in the back that they can't necessarily move, right? So they're a little bit hesitant. Then they got all this Tails first and they're like, oh, people bought Tails first. And they ordered Tails Unlimited. And now that's sitting in their shelves and they can't sell it. So they don't feel comfortable going to this. So it's nice to know that like the store says, hey, we understand that this situation you've been going through, Chicagoland game stores, is a problem. We want to rectify that problem. And hopefully that then says to the people who own and operate those game stores, okay, we're going in the correct direction. And just to kind of build off what you said, it's important to point out, nobody expects LSS and James White and we call James White out by name, but there's obviously a lot more people behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Nobody expects those people to be perfect. We don't expect those people to be perfect. And we get on podcasts and we talk about the things that might be less than perfect. And everyone's like, oh, you're like, no, that's not the case. When something goes wrong and there's a mistake and you just go, you know what? This needs to be fixed. We're going to fix it. And I go, that's huge. The Duskblade ban. We all hated it. Whatever your feelings on it. I thought the fact that they went, we made a mistake and we're going to fix that. That to me went, I'm confident in the fact that they said, okay, we made a boo-boo, an oopsie. We recognize it. We're fixing it. That adds credence to the company for me. And I love this. I was a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. And like for me, like it's just open communication. Like the Duskblade thing,
that again, regardless of your feelings on it, I'm just focusing on the admittance.
That one's a little different. I think. Anyway, that one's a little different for me. Like I would still I would like to see more like of the behind the scenes of their play testing. Like I want to know what happens.
I want a big old play testing team because it seems like look at all the announcements we got after Everfest release, right? Yeah. And the slogan of the company is to like bring people together by playing and investing in great games. So there's always going to be an investment in collectability side to Fab. Those who scream in the chat to be like, make everything not cold foil and give me all the cards and reprint CNC a million times. Like that's not going to happen. They've admitted that that's part of their core. It's part of their core belief structure. However, I don't know, man. I would like to see just like you're announcing all this stuff for play. Let's make sure the set plays perfectly. Like everything is announced for play. We got ProCust. We got skirmishes.
It's gonna be super interesting to see. Like I think a lot rides on Everfest cards. Like there's a lot of conversation going on like, all right, ProQuest is happening. We got these really powerful cards that seem, Pulverize is a 14 power. Like you got a lot of super powerful cards. You got there's
a lot of super powerful cards. Yeah, Sexy Bravo.
Drippy Bravo.
That's
how I'm calling him.
Oh, did I just out myself a little bit there? Oops. Sorry.
No, like I think like this comes back. Like, I know we say it every episode. I would love to see a weekly or bi-weekly blog. It's
going to take them time to get there though.
I hate that I'm doing this now, but like I've been starting to pay a little bit more attention to Magic the Gathering. And so I watched a
step into my web, Louis.
What is it? Monday Morning Magic with what's his name?
Is it Nikachu?
No,
Are you
no,
watching?
no. It's like the actual dev. He
Oh
works
yeah.
with Gavin
Yeah,
who's like a
Verge.
really super, just interesting character. And like,
Right.
I can't say that I fully like. I don't know. He's just an interesting dude.
Sure.
He just like makes. I don't know. He's just like. Anyway,
But
kind of like
he's in
me. I'm
front.
sure
He's in
people
front
feel,
of the camera,
yeah.
interacting with his community, which is
But like,
cool.
and it's like he talks about the development.
Oh,
And I
did you
love
watch
that.
the 100 stories on
Yeah,
100 random
100
cards?
stories on 100
No.
random cards and how they went into the development on them.
But
And I get it.
let's.
I know what you're gonna say. They have a ton more history.
It's not
And
even a ton more history. They have their workforce has got to be huge. Gavin, he has the time for that because he's got other people doing things that the Flesh and Blood developers aren't. So I would like to see us get there, but let's recognize that we can't snap our fingers and have the weekly development blog.
that's
Like
okay.
we have to take steps to get there, right? And I think the Twitter stuff that's a step to getting there.
Yeah, I just think then as a community we need to stop being like, okay, Flesh and Blood is as big as Magic the Gathering. Like,
I don't who
I guess that's kind of the old community. We were always like, oh, we're gonna be as big as Magic the Gathering. We're gonna be as big as Magic the Gathering. We're gonna be
no.
Like,
We belong in the same conversation because the games are the games have similar goals, right?
Yeah.
Or at least Magic as we think about it. Magic's doing a tectonic shift, and that's not for this podcast, but there's a tectonic shift going on there. But pre the last 3 years, Magic and Flesh and Blood have similar goals, right? Surrounding behind the development of the game, the gameplay, the access to the game, giving and how it plays. There's similar goals here. However, we're not there yet. We have to take Magic's got 30 years of taking steps upstairs. You have built a giant YouTube conglomerate. You know that it doesn't happen overnight. It's not like you make your first video and you're at the top and you got everything figured out. And I know we've evolved beyond the point where noobish mistakes are acceptable because we're a veteran now. You pointed out once to me, we're not a new game, and I've accepted that mantra. I like that point, but we're also not Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering. We're taking our steps, we're climbing the ladder, and we're getting there. Let us grow and develop and get there.
That's perfect. I think one of those very soon next steps needs to be better communication. Is all I'm saying.
I think communication is vastly improved. It's vastly improved because it was 0 and now it's something. Now, I don't want to see it now sit there.
With one podcast
and the Twitter and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And the announcements. There's more common announcements coming out on the Flesh and Blood website. Before, there was no reason to ever go to the Flesh and Blood website. The announcements are coming out there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's definitely improving. Now, if they look at this and say, this is perfect communication, that's a problem. They should look and say, hey, we've built a great communication framework and foundation. We're going to build on that communication framework and foundation. That's the key.
I have the same issue with communication with LSS that I have with my wife. Which is that my expectation for communication,
what is happening?
My expectation for communication is just more than it is, I think, for most people. Like my wife will be like, hey, this weekend we've got this, that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have known about that a month ago. You know what I mean? Like it's just like,
and she's like, you did,
no,
a-hole.
No, it's just like I was like, I can't go to the what's it called in Indianapolis because we had 6 weeks to plan the trip. I can't go. Like I had plans already. And I
this is our friendship.
Like I can't go to Indianapolis because we only had 6 weeks of an announcement before that. Like if I had known that Indianapolis was happening, I don't know, 3 months ago. I don't know what other game companies do and whatever things do, but like
sure, but okay, fine, fair. But don't you think it's okay for them to some of these things?
I'm saying it's an issue with me, not necessarily an issue without. This is the marriage conversation. Like it's an issue with me.
How did we get here?
I can talk about my marriage. I'm a person.
Are you?
I think it's an issue with me that like my expectation for communication, I think, is maybe higher than most. But
okay, sure.
I think it's pretty easy to solve though. Like. And I know I'm not alone because I've heard the same thing from other people. I know multiple people who can't go to
about the marriage or the event.
No, about the event.
Oh.
Like I know multiple people who can't go to the event because they didn't have enough time to plan it.
Sure.
It's for those of us with like families and jobs and whatever. Like my old job, I had to give 8 weeks notice if I wanted a week off. You know what I mean? Like,
family and a job. I'm going to the event. Just saying.
well, I'm just saying that yours is different. Like your job
Yes.
doesn't require that, but like
So I agree with you, and I hear what you're saying. You are heard and validated. Since we did a little therapy session here, so you're heard and validated, and I believe in you. And God, you're good looking.
I think I get it though. Like there's a lot of things behind the scenes. I understand COVID is affecting all that. I understand there's.
Sure, let me pitch you a scenario here because it's the SCG tour, right?
Mhm.
And previously, Channel Fireball had been the host of all Fab events, right? They had done, and that had been their line of communication. SCG Game Fest or two, I don't know what it's called. I'm so sorry, Star City.
SCG Con.
SCG Con was planned for a long time, but what if like they hadn't approached each other about like, hey, can we play an event? Or Fab had approached them and SCG was like, no, thank you. But then they came back and Fab's like, it's not a lot of time out, but we could run this thing or we could not run this thing. And they're like, screw it, let's run it. Because a lot of these other stuff, like the ProQuest, we've got plenty of time for that announcement. This one just seemed like one that the partnership was brewing. It happened. And they're like, you know what? Bam.
At least let's do it, right? And I think it's gonna be great. Like I think it's awesome that all those Magic players are I think it's gonna be really cool to watch Magic players who were going to SGC Con be like, okay, I'm gonna give this game a shot. Like I think that's a really cool. Like
yeah, I agree.
Like that's a really cool one. Again, yeah. I was using that as one instance of like communication can improve, and I still think that one of those big ways for communication to improve would be a blog or some sort of conversation with the dev team about what are they working on, what are they planning. This is not an official announcement, but there's
and like we got something behind the scenes that might happen the weekend of. Keep your calendars open, and then if it doesn't happen, they'll be like, plans fell through. But
I get it. You'd have people who are upset.
Yeah.
You'd have people. I get it.
Yeah, if you did that early and then it fell through, people would be like, "Well, I took the 1 weekend off. I'm allowed a year for this." And
yeah, I know.
I don't know. I'm really what is
These are all opinions.
I'm bullish or bearish. What's the one that it's looking up? I think it's bullish.
Yes.
Don't talk to me about stocks. I have an extensive portfolio that I have nothing to do with. I'm bullish on the trend, on the conversation and the community outreach and LSS and Fab communicating with people because they, like I said, and that's my mantra. They've built this foundation, they've built this plan, and they're going forward. Now, will there be mishaps along the way? Sure, but Fab 2.0, if this is the foundation for Fab 2.0, they are crushing it right now. And I did a whole video we talked about this SCG Con and then the ProQuest and stuff. Like, does anybody do events better than Fab right now? Does
There's no way doing events?
But even if there were, let's pretend Magic did Magic Fest in Vegas.
Yeah, but like, wasn't that just Channel Fireball? I don't even think it was Magic.
Okay, but it was Channel Fireball that did.
No, but my point is that the company is not doing any official tournaments. All
right, so Fab's out to a rocking head start because they're the only ones doing it. But like, look at the ProQuest. There's the ProQuest, which this weekend had an opportunity to be like, it's just the best of the best duking it out, and that would have been awesome. The whole thing streamed, but no, they took this nucleus of a ProQuest and they slapped a calling around it, and then they slapped these side events around it, and then this limited play, and they're like, hey, this is ProQuest, but it's freaking Fab weekend for everybody. They're crushing this right now. So if this is Fab 2.0, these event structures like this communication, if this is where we're going, the guy who bought, or the human who bought the several $1,000s of cards from you is just correct. Like, they're crushing it too.
Oh, they didn't buy them from me. Just want to clarify that. They didn't buy it from me. I just middleman the deal for them.
You got your hands in everything. Anyway, I think Fab 2.0 is in a great spot. I am bullish 100%. I think this is.
Yeah, I think there's got to be some solution to unlimited. I think there's got to be some solution to.
But I'm not stressing about that right now. I don't even want to think about it because it's on their radar, and I'll think about it in the sense like, what are they doing? But I'm not thinking about like, oh my god.
The two things that I would like to see improved.
Ruin Fab.
The two things I would like to see improved is the correlation of first edition unlimited and increased communication. If they do those two things, this is gonna be great. I bet you they would do more than that. Yeah, I bet you they would do more than that. But if they do just those two things, because you can have a great game, but if you have poor communication, then your game's not going to succeed.
See, I suck at podcast content because it's just positivity, but let's look at what they've done. They've taken steps in the communication department and they've opened the door and publicly said, we need to fix this on the other one. Both great steps. My podcasting skills suck. It's all just positive.
No, you're good.
You know what, Fab? You suck. You need to improve. This is I quit.
Because that's what the opposite of that is. No, but like I just think like if they do those two things, if they improve their communication and if they figure out this dynamic, which like everyone has given a million ideas for first edition to Unlimited, and I think all those ideas have been horrible so far.
None of us are business majors. We don't understand how it works.
But you know, I think you got to figure out that side of the game for the LGS. The LGS needs to like you're saying, have some more confidence of like, okay, I should order from product. One of the biggest issues that you didn't hit on for an LGS from the behind the scenes side is like, I can't get Arcane Rising. I haven't been able to get Arcane Rising. The availability of products is so hit or miss that stores just order too much, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch more product, and then
it's gone, but then it's back. And
it's like it just is never. It's never like a static, and the prices have changed since I've started a store. The prices from one distributor have changed like 3 times. So like now you don't even know what your margins are. Like they've always gone up. Meanwhile, the boxes on the market are going down. So like it's just like it hasn't been it's been
but that's part of that distributor model that they're like, we need to fix this.
Yeah, they should just go direct. They should just go direct to LGS. That's what they should do.
Do they have the manpower?
No, they don't. They don't. Yeah. I know.
When they deal with distributors, you deal with 3 people. You deal with the LGS. What is it? 1,500 stores or something that they was like,
it was a joke. I know that's never gonna happen.
Oh, well, I thought I caught you in a fail.
Yeah. All right.
I think Fab 2.0 is sweet. I'm bullish. I think it's nice. Bless you, or cough you, or whatever that was. Yeah. Oh, but Everfest did drop, and even though they said they're going to do this stuff in the future, in the meantime, we got new cards to play with, and some of it's sick. Now, I want to temper everyone's expectations here. Everfest dropped, and people went, these talismans are trash. Why do I have these? Sure. Let's look back.
I thought you were only positive.
No, the talismans are trash.
You were far more negative about the Everfest experience than I was.
100%. The talismans are trash. They're trash panda. They're horrible. They're the worst. What is the worst? That's the worst experience I've had in Fab is opening a cold foil talisman. And I had a buddy, Dennis, hometown TCG Dennis. Shout out to you. He was like, "What about the cold foil buckler? Like you totally rather." I said, "No, the cold foil buckler it's sturdy. It sits there. It tells me I'm going to block for 1 at any given moment. I don't have to put any work into you. I'm going to do my thing. I'd rather have the cold foil buckler all day long than any cold foil talisman."
I hate cold foils in the deck. I hate cold foils in the deck.
Me too. We talked about this already. Yeah. Cold foils in the deck are terrible. Yeah. But we need to keep in mind that Crew came out, and remember how many cards from Crew just like weren't played. Everyone goes, well, what about what was the Warrior Majestic? Oh my god, I'm blanking. Makes copper.
Spoils of War?
Spoils of War. Everyone's like every Majestic at all. Every Majestic and Crew was Spoils of War. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. There was, trust me, as someone, how I got into the Fab market is when Crew foil Majestics were like $8 to $10 to $12. I bought out TCG Player.
Yeah.
That was me and John Wood. We bought out TCG Player, the 2 of us.
Wow.
And some of that stuff just ended up, it's still $8 to $12 and nobody will buy it ever because it's just unplayable trash. That's going to happen with a lot of this stuff in this set. But there's some freaking spice in here, man. Something's going to shake up. I like it.
So conversations I've had with people are there's a ton of really good stuff for Blitz. And then the following conversation I've had with people is, but I don't want to play Blitz.
But doesn't that feel weird? This is another reason I'm not super high on Everfest as much as I was. Now that I have it in my hands, it's like, we got the Benji specialization, the Kasai specialization, the Kaio specialization. I'm like, I'm going to play all these cards. And then LSS is like, CC events forever. And I'm like,
well, they got the skirmish coming up too.
Yeah, but
I don't know. For CC, I think there are a few cards that look like they're going to affect things, particularly Guardian. Like
I'm not going to spoil it now, but hometown TCG's got something brewing. So I've got some pretty good information on
something drippy.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. But the Everfest meta is hitting some people in a unique way. And you mentioned Guardian, and I think that's almost like LSS's look over here, because I think there's a slap coming from the left side.
Oh yeah, what's the left side? Come on, just drop it. Come on.
Okay.
Come on, give people what they want to hear. Give the people on my channel a reason to go to your channel.
But first of all, look at this face. This is the reason to go to my channel. I have not been growing my beard out for 6 months, Louis. I am better than you. I really think that there's a lot of other decks that got some power. The other one that I'll spoil what's on the forefront of everyone's mind that everyone's already seen, and this isn't hidden tech or anything.
Can I guess?
Runeblade. Oh, sure.
Swarming Gloomveil.
Yeah, that card is so good. But there's also other tech.
There's only 5 of them. There's only 9 of them available on TCG Play right now.
Dude, there's so much tech for like tempo mid-range Runeblade, and it's just sick. It's so cool. I think some of these cards are really going to hit. There's a warrior build out there right now. I'm not going to say which warrior. I'm not going to say what it does. That's just nutty. There's a warrior build out there that's pretty freaking insane, and it's going to catch people. There's no way they see it coming. It's going to be like, what is happening to me right now? Yeah, dude, it's nuts. I play tested last night. Again, shout out Hometown TCG Dennis. Get out of my channel's content. You are insane. We play tested for a couple hours last night. We threw together like this Katsu list and tried some of the new cards. Some of that's even bigger than that is just nutty and Katsu just for card advantage. It's so cool. Or card selection. It's so cool. Some of this stuff is
100 wins Katsu is going to be interesting to watch. I think.
No, it's not.
You don't think?
No, it's not. 100 wins blue can't replace any existing blues in Katsu. It blocks for 2. All the other blues in Katsu strategically block for 3. 100 wins blue blocks for 2. Trust me, I was sitting there. I was like, why would this not just replace like a full stack of blues? I'm like, oh, there it is. That's the gotcha.
I think Viscera is going to be interesting, and I think Drippy Bravo is going to be interesting.
I am not high on Drippy Bravo. You are high.
I'm so high on Drippy
Sexy
Bravo.
Flexy Bravo. I'm not, dude. It's so inconsistent.
Yeah, I agree. I think the card pool advantage is just massive. Like, there's something there, and if people have enough time to brew with it.
What are a couple cool cards you get access to that you like that you think send you over the edge?
I just think the card pool advantage is huge. Like, you have more access to cards than any other hero, and that in our community with the geniuses at Bay, not me, but with the geniuses at Bay who can brew and come up with things like, Briar Cheerios didn't have any, real like interaction with what people thought it was going to have at first. I
was talking about Cheerios Briar with someone the other day, and someone mentioned, like, I was like, oh yeah, there's this lightning card and all the lightning cards, but I guess it was just kind of regular cards.
Zero cost.
And I was like, oh yeah, I always imagined it as lightning Briar. It was lightning Briar.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of, I think that Drippy Bravo has a lot going for him if people can figure him out.
We disagree on this. I
hope I'm wrong. God, I hope
regular
I'm wrong.
Bravo got way better than Drippy Bravo.
I've heard that too. I've heard that too. Nutty. I've heard that too.
And I'm waiting. In the Everfest meta, someone's gonna scream for an Oldhim ban. It's coming. It's
really
the Oldhim ban posts are on their way. It's like brace. What's that meme? Brace yourself. The Oldhim ban posts are coming, because not only is it a powerful deck, but it is no fun to play against.
Yeah,
no fun. People talk about Briar was no fun to play against. You could interact with it at least. Oldhim is no fun. You're not no fun allowed.
That'll be what's interesting. It's like, because the last ban was like, hey, we don't think that this is the way that the game was meant to be played, and now this is like, hey, but like that's also like a control deck is just kind of I hated playing Modern because of Jesper control.
Jeskai control, yeah.
Jeskai control, yeah. Jesper. Look at me being an idiot.
Is it Esper or Jeskai? Esper control was a thing too, but Jeskai control before MH2.
Yeah, like I hated playing. It was just boring. Like, you just didn't do anything. You just
Right.
sat there and lost the game, and it was not fun.
But
it's part of a TCG. Like that's
it's part of a TCG.
Yeah.
I'm not on a pedestal saying we should ban Oldhim.
We
I'm
shouldn't
saying
ban anything.
I'm saying if people feel like they have a voice right now because of the Briar bans, and they're going to use that voice to be like, oh, mono blue control, no, pass. I don't want to see that.
Who should I build for this season?
Okay, so before everything hit, I put out what I thought was the most consistent deck and had the opportunity to be the least affected by the Everfest meta. I built a Prism shell I called it my ProQuest Prism. I did a link to, I did a deck guide for the patrons and stuff like that. And I've played it a couple times. I got to tell you, it's much like Oldhim. It's very lit. It just kind of does its thing.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of huge decision points, but the Prism tech I wanted to talk about it got weird. There's like a card that I think, what is it? Is it the Miraging Metamorph? That's when it's destroyed, or no? When it's destroyed, draw a card or something like that. I'm trying to find the Prism card. I don't really know.
Create an aura. Yeah, it's Miraging Metamorph. Create a token that's a copy of an aura you control.
No, I thought one that says is when it's destroyed, you get to draw a card.
Oh,
is that true? Yeah, I could be smoking some illicit substances apparently that I wouldn't. I'm obviously kidding, but whatever. Even that one, create a token of an aura that you control. I think that's interesting. That definitely adds some tech. I don't think the draw card's a thing, but it adds some tech. And then the Shimmers of Silver is cool, adding +1 to your attacks. So I would tell you, if you're looking for like an interesting environment to get into that I don't think is solved yet, I would build Prism. If you're looking for something that I think can be really interesting, there's some rumbles about Azalea being a much better deck based on the meta. So if you I know you've expressed your Ranger love before. I think
have
Azalea.
I done that?
I thought you had. I thought you were talking about how much you like. Oh, is it the other famous content creators that I watch?
I don't know who that is, but it is not me. Rudy does that. Red Zone Rogue does that. Not this guy.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's Red Zone Rogue. You guys have very similar facial hair.
Moving on. I'm probably a Runeblade person. That's where I always gravitate toward. I played Chain. I played Viscerai.
Oh, dude, let me give you my Earthbriar list. It plays. No, you get it. No,
it's like the opposite of Runeblade.
No,
I want to do fancy things.
No, you're. I
don't want
listening.
it the Earth. The Earth's dumb. I want to do fancy things with.
You're not listening. You're not listening. It doesn't. It's not a ProQuest deck. You will have so much fun with. I know you. You'll have so much. This deck plays Pursuit of Knowledge.
Ooh. Spicy.
Yeah, you will have some fun with this. This deck is the way. This is my pet deck. I did a whole video on it.
I don't want your pet deck. I want a winning. I want the top tier, easy to play winning deck.
Probably Oldhim.
No.
What do you want?
I'm just gonna play my own deck.
All right.
I'm gonna play Viscerai.
Team Kitchen Fable. Good luck building this guy deck.
They're too busy trying to win. I'm gonna build a Viscerai deck and have fun.
I think you should. If you need, reach out to me afterwards. Dennis and I got a Viscerai shell we were working on. I can send you.
Cool.
I can hook it up, and then you can make it your own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it'll be great. People really like it. They'll be like, "Wow, Louis, that's a really great deck. Congratulations on going 0-4."
Hey, what are you talking on?
Me play. You said I touch it if I edit it. I net deck. That's what I do. This is what Kitchen Table TCG is all about. That net deck. Someone's got to do it.
Dude, I'm doing a whole call to action about and I'm doing videos this week about hey, these are interesting card packages. Let's build around this. Hey, this is an interesting card package. Let's build.
Yeah, that's fun for the kitchen table stuff.
And it's also fun for your armory. Kill that mantra right there. You kill that right now. It's also fun for your armory. Oh, you can go to your armory and play these and have some fun.
Listen, we had in my Thursday night armory, we had the least amount of Briar players than I think probably any other armory had. Like nobody played Briar. Because everybody knew that if they went up against a Briar, they were going to get crapped on. And I make fun of people who play Ira in Blitz. I basically say you don't get your prize, and then I give it to them anyway. But I make the joke every time, and it catches most times people laugh.
No matter what I play, if I bring Kano, they're like, "Oh, what a loser brings Kano." I bring Briar, like, "Oh, what a loser brings Briar." I bring Lexi, they're like, "Oh my god, who plays Lexi?" I'm like, "Can you what? You guys tell me what to play."
Maybe it's just you.
I think it is. My locals just roast me no matter what I play. They just get on me about it.
All right, I still think Guardian's going to be the hot take. I think all three of the Guardians are going to be up there.
You said hot take again, and I already threw all the.
It's not even a hot
back.
take, but I think that's going to be where people are gravitating towards.
I think so, 100%. I'm super excited for this. It's
what's going to feel horrible is getting pulverized.
No, this set gives you an opportunity to do exactly what we were just talking about, and not net deck, but like, hey, I want to experiment with this set of cards. Like right now, I'm experimenting with the new Ninja, the Break Tide, right?
Yeah.
Like experimenting with Break Tide. I don't know if it's optimal.
Maybe I'll play Guardian. I'm gonna play Bravo. I've never played regular Bravo.
Oh, you have to play regular Bravo. You get to play
the
Hometown
regular
TCG
Bravo
spoiler card, dude.
Oh, heck yeah, baby.
I think do it. The meta is exciting. I think it's a really cool spot. It's a builder's dream for like casual to low level events. Like you can take so many things, so many different decks. I'm stoked.
I agree. Cool.
Okay. Do you want to end with the section we forgot about last time? We were under a time crunch last time in our
defense. We were. Yeah. The closing crazy comic collection.
Bonanza. That doesn't start with a C.
You want me to go first?
Costanza. Yeah, because I haven't picked mine yet.
Classic. All right, mine goes to Cody Manson. I think LSS should move the direction of more cold foils in the first edition boxes and more legendaries in their unlimited boxes to help the excitement of opening boxes and their values. More majestic and rare cold foils in the first edition box would really help those without legendaries in them. More rainbow legendaries and unlimited would really sell those boxes and bring down the equipment prices so people have an easier time getting into the competitive while keeping their collectability of the cold foil version. Okay. There's a lot to that. I think that you have instated what is the issue, which is that unlimited boxes are not selling. I think when you add more cold foils to first edition boxes, and this is what I feel like Everfest did, the cold foil pulls are not as exciting. When you pulled a cold foil in Crew, it was exciting. Like it was an exciting thing, especially if you pulled the legendary, because the legendary was so hard to get. Cheyenne was impossible to get. And
it's like the merchant hands. It's useless, but it's cool.
Yeah, but it was like way hard to get. Like I opened up 4 boxes on camera and I've hit 2 of the legendary hands so far.
I saw that. I was like, oh, that's weird.
I know maybe it's just random, but like I've opened 50 boxes of Crew First Edition. I haven't opened a Cheyenne. So like I think like if you make cold foils too easy to pull, it loses
its luster.
All of a sudden, cold foils just turn into like a slightly better rainbow foil. And like, I want cold foils to feel really special. So I do think one of you said more rainbow foil legendaries and unlimited. I think one idea for unlimited would be to have rainbow foil, but also have non-foil legendaries in unlimited. And so, so you could pull, you would have those $50 unlimited legendaries, but then have the rainbow foil version be as rare as hitting like a cold foil legendary or whatever. So like you have a lot of cards for players, but so I like your theories. I just don't think that you are 100% there in terms of like, I don't want to devalue the cold foils. So
let me pick your brain about something really quick. How do you feel about the Metazoo angle where it's like the unlimited boxes we have this slew of rares that are full art, that are extended art in first edition. The slew of rares that are full art in unlimited are different. It's a different set of full art rares. So you can only get slice and dice full art and maybe that's, I think you get every rare full art.
You called this the Metazoo angle based on the box toppers?
Yeah, based on the fact that there are certain cards.
Why is it that every podcast I'm in, the co-host just has to bring up Metazoo?
Let's just call it whatever angle you want. That's just the only way I know how to describe it, where there's chase cards that you can only get out of unlimited. I think it's got to be done in a way where it can't be. I know during Tales, people were speculating that the Stalagmite was like an unlimited only card. It can't be like a powerhouse card, but it can be like treatments and versions of cards that you can only get in unlimited. And that's kind of what rainbow foil legendaries are, right? You can only get those in unlimited. But it doesn't.
I like the idea. I like the idea of adding different extended arts into the unlimited product. That way, if you wanted a full set of extended arts on all the cards,
you could chase that, right? It's a reason to buy some unlimited cards. Maybe it's something to chase in unlimited packs. I don't know if that solves it all. I'm just curious on your thoughts.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's a good thought.
I have my crazy comment from the homie, the subscriber Arlat. He pointed out, I think this is probably the riskiest set for Fab. Tails did not sell well or hold value. I think the Merchant L will hurt the value of this box. Ended up being a pretty good take. I think items are cool, but not this many items. Great take. Amazing Arlat. Go you. This is a Guardian set, I think. Is likely looking to suffer from not all players wanting the boxes and single sellers not opening boxes because the value is not there. He hit the nail on the head with a lot of stuff, but I also think that in fairness, it's too early to judge this. So Arlat items are trash. He's on point. Look at Arlat, just hammering home the facts here. The Guardian set, I think there's a lot of hidden spice out there, but yeah, Guardian is the one they like shoved in your face. Like, here, play this sick 14 attack Guardian
here's
card.
The legendary and the fable and the best majestic.
The legendary and the fable, and I don't know about all that. I don't know what the
Pulverize is the greatest card ever made. It's got the highest number attack. It has to be. Sarcasm.
Oh my
Someone's gonna be like, Louis is such an idiot.
Oh, for sure. They're gonna be in the first of all, no one's listening this late in the podcast. Like, there's no way. But I think Arlat hit a lot of good points here. But I think in fairness, it's too soon to judge like the overall health and well-being of the set. That's not right yet. Let's let it shape out a little bit. It's weird that I'm 4 days in, and as a I consider myself a pretty major content creator at this point. I'm not opening any more Everfest. That's weird to me, right? Like that doesn't feel great, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. But if nobody opens it, the value of singles goes up. So
yeah, and that's the interesting. I mean, boxes are at map. And I was told boxes would never go to map on first edition from multiple people in my life. And
like wrong.
Yeah, like boxes are at map. So something's not going the direction that the community thought it would.
But again, they said, hey, this is something we want to fix. So
and like the question is, I think the biggest question mark is when is unlimited. This comes back to communication.
Are you in the pool that we're going to get a surprise announcement that like, psych, no Everfest Unlimited?
Like, that's going to feel really bad.
I don't think we're going to get that because in the announcement,
this is where I'm talking about
edition and unlimited edition.
Yeah, this is where I'm talking like communication can be better. I don't like that everyone's in the dark on when unlimited is going to be.
We have beaten this horse.
I know, but like, I mean, I'm just saying.
It's an important point.
We don't know when unlimited. Stores don't know when they're going to get charged for unlimited.
Aren't certain stores pre-ordering unlimited right now?
Yeah, because everyone took pre-orders. The distributors took pre-orders.
Oh, distributors are
at least one. I don't know if one of the distributors did because I didn't pay attention because I didn't like really plan on it.
When you're not a store, you find these things out and you're like, wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, like pre-orders for unlimited from one distributor are closed.
Okay.
So like, but we don't have any release date, and like that's where like this communication thing gets to be like, okay, if I'm somebody who's waiting to buy singles, I'm kind of waiting for unlimited because that's when the market historically has kind of collapsed for singles.
Sure.
So I'm waiting for unlimited, but like, okay, what if unlimited doesn't come?
And then the market for singles
now I'm never gonna get the singles.
All the competitive players that were waiting to buy singles.
Yeah. So I just feel like I wish we knew. Anyway, that's it.
It's interesting. Anyway, that's Arlat's comment. And one more shout out. The scheming skeleton in that comment thread pointed out the Merchant L is the one card he wants most from the set, and he's also the sub homie. So I hope you got that merchant card. I haven't got one yet. I did buy Cold Foil Bravo. It's weird for me. I'm buying singles out of the set, and I've never been a buy singles guy. I've opened everything I've had. This is weird for me. I'm in uncharted territory. I'm messaging Louis at 2 a.m. for market advice. Should I spend this on this card? Is this a good price? Hey, what do you think?
Very good advice too.
I think you did too.
All right. Well, you can find us on each other's YouTube channels, and you can find us on Spotify. Hey, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. That's positive. If you don't like our podcast, don't leave us a review. But if you like the podcast, leave us a review.
And if you don't like our review, that's the sound of our heart just ripping.
Yeah.
Paperbacks are cool, bro.
Yeah, I realized I should start using them to take notes because they're paper.
You should recycle them and not leave them on your office floor. Anyway, this has been sick. Thanks for the chat, dude. You did the intro. I'm going to do the outro. Leave us a review on Spotify. Leave us a review on Apple Pod. Click that like button. Click that subscribe button. You guys know what to do. Until next time, my name is Josh.
And I'm Louie. Remember to be kind to the people around you.
I didn't want to steal your thunder this time.
I didn't know
bro.
if you were gonna do it or not.
Let's both do the hand thing. I got criticized for that. Ah.